All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Friday. Happy Friday to everyone out there, and happy 4th of July to everyone out there. We got a 15-game MLB slate to dive into in today's video, like we always do. I'm going to dive into each and every one of these games. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That'll take you to all of my final plays, so I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest you, it's absolutely free down in the pinned comment. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I tell you guys I'm a dummy all the time. They don't suck. They've just been sucking. Get them down to -3, 4 more juice than Jose Canseco in his prime. Tell me you're new without telling me you're new. So don't go jumping down my throat in the comments, right? If you want to fade me, or if you do want to ride me, this still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, right? And remember, more chins, more wins. In terms of yesterday, we do go 2-1. That Twins team total over, and all three of these were one-unit plays. That Twins team total over was an L. They only scored 1 run, but the Brewers, Mets first 5 under cashes, as well as the Angels and the Braves first 5 under there. Again, all one-unit plays, so good to see a nice little 2-1 night. Pick up a little bit of something there. Unfortunately, the ride of the day does not come through, and you know the drill. Got to drop the womp womp on a loss. Lakota had Christian Walker here, 2+ bases. Liked the look. Walker had a hit, had a RBI, I believe, but this wasn't his hits, runs, and RBIs. This was his total bases line, and he only finished with the 1 base. So unfortunately, this was an L. The tracker is now updated. Lakota, that was a good try. I liked the spot. There's a decent amount of opportunities in that game as well. Just couldn't come through. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, but you like it, you want to get involved, just use that hashtag ride of the day or ROTD down in the comments. I jump aboard with one person's play each and every day. Give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. If you win, we continue to ride with you until you do lose, so you can go on a little bit of a streak and keep getting that shout out. If you lose, you get the shout out, but unfortunately, you do have to face the womp womp on the soundboard there. But, all right, let's go ahead and dive into today's slate. Like I said, 15 games, decent amount of early ones, so we're trying to get this to you fairly early, but let's dive into it. We got Washington taking on Boston as play number 1 or game number 1 here. Soroka on the mound going up against Lucas Giolito. Giolito's been good. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but over his last 4 starts, he has looked very good. Soroka, kind of in the same ballpark. I mean, he's given you about 6 innings, maybe on a bad day, 3 earned runs, so we can give him a little bit of credit as well. He's been very good at home this year. The problem for me is that he's really struggled against lefties. Really struggled against lefties and very good against righties. There's a lot of lefties in that Red Sox lineup, right? You have Duran, you have Toro, who's going to be a switch batting from the left, Roman Anthony, Wilyer Abreu, Meyer, all these guys that have been playing fairly well, I guess you could say. The only one that, you could throw in there being like, oh, maybe he suppresses a bat, Trevor Story's starting to come around. So I do think there's a little bit of an edge on the Red Sox side of things. You're going to get a lot of fastballs out of Lucas Giolito. Not that they're fast fastballs, but that's his main pitch, 49.2% of the time. Washington not hitting those all that well. You flip it over to Soroka, he's going to throw the fastball a lot as well. Red Sox hitting the fastball. So I'm going to lean towards the Red Sox here. In terms of the total, I don't mind the idea of an over, simply because I don't really have much trust in either one of these bullpens. The Red Sox have been piecing together decent bullpen outings, and I get it, but I don't think there's anything consistent there, and I think we know what we're getting from Washington. So Red Sox in the over is what I'll look at here. Moving on, we have Philadelphia taking on Cincinnati. So I don't know if I'm totally in love with it, but I do like the idea of a potential first 5 or full game under here. This is not one of my first 5s that I'm all over. That's been like my favorite market this year. But we do have Jesus Luzardo and Andrew Abbott on the bump. Both of these offenses don't hit lefties as well as they hit righties, so that's great. Both of these are good lefty pitchers. The thing that I'm concerned with is Jesus Luzardo. He actually struggles against righties, and there is a decent amount of righties in this lineup, right? I think there's only like 1 true lefty. Ellie's going to be a switch hitter. He's going to be batting right today because Jesus Luzardo is a lefty, so kind of turns me off from 2 things. Really sinking my teeth into that under, because what if Cincinnati, who are well capable, put up a big number? And it also turns me off from liking the Phillies, even though they're at home. I kind of like the idea of Cincinnati to go out there and get a dub. Now, the Phillies have been very good at home. I think they've won, let's see, we have it right here, 59% of their games they've won this year. 65% of their games at home they have won. So clearly a better home team than just in general, right? So that might be why we stick away from this. But I think in terms of leans, it is the Reds for me at that plus 150 price. and looking at the under. But again, I don't know if I can fully get there because Jesus Luzardo could deal, especially at home. I do worry about him against the right-handed bats, though. Another one where I'm kind of conflicted, I'll be honest. We got the Cubs taking on the Cards here. Cubs have won a lot of games recently. They've won 4 of their last 5. They just swept Cleveland. St. Louis just got swept by Pittsburgh. Prior to that, they swept Cleveland as well. So maybe there's something more to be said about Cleveland. But in this one, we have Colin Rea going up against Miles Mikolas. Mikolas, not so great. He has been lucky this year. I've said that so many times on the show. Colin Rea, kind of in the same boat. I mean, maybe he's looked a little bit better than he did, say, 3 weeks ago, but still, can we fully trust him? I'm not all that sure. You look at Mikolas's numbers against this Cubs team, he doesn't allow a ton of runs, but he allows guys on base. 164 plate appearances against his current roster. He has a 314 average against. So not all that tremendous. Doesn't really walk guys though, so they are making contact. Colin Rea, on the other hand, expected batting average over 49 plate appearances against his Cardinals roster at 275, expected slugging 407, expected WOBA 352. So maybe we could see some runs here in this one. In terms of the weather, I do believe it's going to be windy there in Wrigley, but windy in the good way, blowing out to the outfield. So yeah, we have 2 offenses that I do think can step up. And I mean, can St. Louis get any worse? Again, they got swept by the Pirates, but that's not even like the big story. They scored 0 runs in game 1, 0 runs in game 2. 0 runs in game 3. Can you believe that? So hopefully they at least generate some offense here. I trust the Cubs a little bit at home with some wind behind them as well. They've actually been averaging over 5 runs per game at home this season. So I guess I'll lean the Cubs. Don't know how much I love Rea, but I'll also take a peek at that over. I kind of want to watch that number, though, to see if we can get like a flat 9 or anything like that, because 9.5, asking for 10, a little questionable. What I might pivot to in a sense would just be to back Chicago's lineup if we really can't get behind St. Louis. Mets taking on the Yanks, got a little Subway Series action. Justin Hangenman on the mound for the Mets. I don't want to pretend and sit here that I know too much about him. This year he does have 2 games played out of relief there for the Mets. Hasn't looked all that terrible. He's got a .83 whip, a 1.5 ERA, so that is all great. But again, I don't want to act like I know too much about him. What we do know is Marcus Stroman's on the other side of things, and I don't know how much we can trust him. 87 plate appearances against this current Mets roster, 274 expected batting average against a strikeout rate of just 17.2. The one thing I'll give him credit for, a negative 1.2% launch angle. So it's not like this Mets team is lifting him or anything like that, which makes a lot of sense, right? This is a guy that even when Marcus Stroman is at his worst, he'll keep the ball on the ground with that sinker. This is a Mets squad that does not hit the sinker all that well. If we show the dashboard here, I'll explain later on in the video how to get access to the dashboard. You can see that's actually the worst pitch the Mets are hitting right now, the sinker, and a lot of key bats in the lineup don't necessarily hit it all that well. So I think this may be a spot in which we could potentially look at the Yanks. I'd only do it for plus money though, and right now I believe you can get them minus 102. Plus 102 actually over on Novig. So that might be a move for us here today, just to take a little bit of a swing at this squad. Last time they did play, which was back in May, the Yankees kind of dominated that series. They won 2-1, but games that they won 6-2 and 8-2. That was in New York, but in the Yankee Stadium. Now we're obviously in Citi Field. It could be a little bit different, but ultimately I think that this Yankee squad, after getting swept by they got swept, right? 4-game sweep by Toronto, they have to battle back at some point, right? So giving a little bit of faith there to Stroman, who hasn't looked all that terrible this year at least. So give me the Yankees, but maybe an over, because I don't know too much about the pitcher Hangenman, and then Stroman, he could kind of break down at some point, right? All right, guys, before we move on with the rest of the games, I want to talk to you about Sleeper Picks. They have a free Justin Verlander square, and that's not all. Listen to this, and I'll show you guys as best as I can. So I'm opening up the Sleeper app right now, right? Check this out. They have a Joey Chestnut promo right here. They also have a 50% boost that you can use until you win. So pretty much as long as you keep losing, you keep getting the discount, but we don't want that, right? We want the boost. Use it and win it the first time. Then we have a 44% profit boost, a $5 protected play. All these things when swiping. We have a Tatis discounted line. You have a Shohei boost. You also have a Spencer Strider discounted line. They throw so many discounts your way on this app. It is absolutely unbelievable. And that is why these DFS apps are awesome, because of the discounts. A lot of the times the odds and 2-mans and stuff like that don't necessarily match sportsbooks. So what is the benefit of using the apps? These discounts, these deals, these promos that they put in your face, you have to take advantage of. Check out Sleeper Picks, guys. The link will be down in the description, as well as the pinned comment. I didn't throw in yet the best part. left out. 100% of your first deposit matched up to $100. You give them $100, you have a $200 bankroll in Sleeper instantly, right? So go ahead and check it out. That link again will be down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment. I swear, I open that app up every single day, and there's just promos at the top that are like, oh, this one's new, let's do that one, across different sports and everything like that. It's pretty damn cool. So go check it out. I've been rocking with Sleeper for over 2 years now, and using that app, it is absolutely incredible. I used it before working with them as well, so keep that in mind. Link down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment. Let's jump back into these games. All right, Minnesota taking on Tampa Bay. Minnesota coming off of a rough game yesterday. We had their team total over. They scored 1 run. They didn't really score all that well in that series. In fact, their last 4 games, 0-0, 2, 1 run scored. So something is up with that offense. They're going up against Zach Littell today, who hasn't been phenomenal. I mean, his whip numbers are impressive, but his FIP not looking all that great. His expected FIP, his strikeout rate, all that kind of struggling. The one thing I will say, pitch mix wise, and even using our dashboard again, you could see he's going to throw the slider. They don't hit the slider all that well. The fastball, they don't hit the fastball all that well. The splitter, they don't hit the splitter all that well, Minnesota, right? The sinker that he throws 15% of the time, his last pitch, they're top 10 in the league, okay. But ultimately, they're not hitting all that well. They don't hit righties all that well. You look at Chris Paddock on the other side of things, and we definitely have some messed up numbers here. 81 and 82% swing and miss rate. Those are not correct, so we'll have to fix those as I'm noticing it live. But what I really want to focus on here is the fastball, is the slider, is the change. Fastball, number 2 last 30 days, runs above average. Slider, number 5. This is Tampa Bay's offense. Number 5 in terms of the slider. Changeup, 11th, right? And look at these guys against righties in the last 30 days, average and OPS. This is the Tampa Bay spot for me, man. I don't think that Minnesota's offense is going to totally get to Littell, which is good. But if you want to feel a little bit more comfortable, maybe a Tampa Bay team total over could be viable. But I think for plus 100 odds right now, it's Tampa Bay for me all day long. In terms of the total, I would keep it just to Tampa Bay until we see a little bit of promise out of the Twins. Do you know what I mean? Like right now, we're seeing a team that's kind of like, okay, well, ultimately you have the Twins who just went 0-0-2, 1 run scored. No bueno. So we want to see a little progress out of them before kind of including them in a total, I would say. But as of right now, I do like Tampa Bay, and I like their team total over. Seattle taking on Pittsburgh here. Bailey Falter on the mound going up against Brian Wu. Brian Wu, I do think, is the better pitcher here. It does come down to what we think of these Seattle bats, I would say, against a left-handed pitcher, which some of their power numbers actually get better against lefties. Some of their averages and whatnot slightly worse. We're going to see a lot of fastballs, sliders, sinkers. Not exactly the best pitch mix for Seattle, but even still, it's like, okay, well, all Brian Wu has to do is kind of continue to do what he's been doing, which is pitch fairly well, right? And he's going up against the lineup that really stinks in Pittsburgh. So I do think Seattle's the play here. Not to mention Pittsburgh, played, did they have yesterday off? Actually, I was going to say they just played a hard-fought series against both the Mets and Cardinals and come right to Seattle. I think that they had the day off, though. So Seattle, I guess, staying at home, that could help them. They took 2 of 4 against Kansas City. It's a tough one with the odds, but it would be Seattle for me. We do want to confirm those pitchers. I think those are still potential expected arms. But if that's the case, I'm going to lean towards Seattle. And that total at 7.5, I kind of like a Pittsburgh team total under more so than the full game under. But yeah, I mean, we could give this Seattle team a little bit of, some slack, or not the opposite of slack, because they haven't really been scoring. So maybe a full game under is viable as well, especially in that stadium. And guys, in terms of getting access to that dashboard that I showed, which the problem already fixed itself with that swing and miss rate, which is cool, but GuyBostonSports.com, head over to the members area, top right of your screen. MLB dashboard is what you're going to want to click on. I'm already logged in, so I'll see the dashboard, and this dashboard breaks out pitching, batting, players, all that stuff each and every day. It's what we kind of go through in the video, right, to help you guys make some more informed decisions. If you are not logged in, we'll set this to a non-logged in view. It's going to say, hey, you need a membership. You can sign up for the MLB dashboard by clicking view membership levels, or you can do the all sports dashboard, which is a couple extra bucks a month. The MLB dashboard is the only one that we're offering as of right now, but I always tell you guys, whatever price you sign up at, as long as you keep your subscription active, if it goes through or you change your billing or anything like that, we have no power over that. But as long as you keep it active, you can stay at that price forever. So that's why we offer this, because we do have other dashboards that come out for other sports. So if you want to kind of get in early, keep the price, there you go. Just $2 more than the MLB dashboard. But if you just want to go $4.99 for the MLB dashboard, go for it, because I think this thing post All-Star break might be getting a little bit of a price boost too, based on some things that we're adding. But yeah, head over to GuyBostonSports.com, sign up for the dashboard if you do want to incorporate another research tool. I absolutely love this thing. We built it ourselves, so obviously I trust it. I'm telling you, the slate was not easy on us today. There's so many games on the board today that are just kind of like toss-ups, right? Nice holiday weekend, toss-up, tough slate to break down. This one included San Diego taking on the Rangers here. We have Randy Vasquez going up against Kumar Rocker. Now, Kumar Rocker has been what I'd say either bad or mediocre at best in the last, honestly, this season. Randy Vasquez has kind of been either really good or kind of struggled, so it's tough to peg where we want to go in this one. I do think that the Padres are a better team at home. They should be, at least. They're a little bit more comfortable. They'll play more better, weather games, I guess, there in a sense. So I think I'm going to lean Padres in this spot. Backing Randy Vasquez over Kumar Rocker checks out for me as well, even though he's had some issues. But, the one thing I concern myself with is like, okay, well, this Padres offense, man, they have some names: Tatis, Merrill, Machado, Arias, Gavin Sheets, Bogarts, Maldonado, Cronenworth, Brooks. Just named a handful of their everydayers. The fact that this isn't a good offense is crazy, right? But on the flip side, is Texas really all that good? I mean, they've shown a little life lately. I will definitely give them that. But are they all that tremendous? We shall see. Give me San Diego, but I guess and lean towards the over, just in case Vasquez lets up some, right? And just in case, we do see the Padres offense kind of step up. Bullpen, they actually have decent numbers, both of these bullpens, but I've seen some inconsistencies there too, right? So numbers don't tell it all. I think an over still is in play, but I'm gonna lean San Diego here at home. Toronto taking on the Angels. Eric Lauer on the mound going up against Kyle Hendricks. The fact that you could even make a case to take Toronto money line because the odds aren't absolutely obscene is kind of crazy to me. Like, it seems a little trappy. Because, yeah, you could get them right now, minus 150 if you wanted to. The Angels, on the other hand, they have looked okay, like 6 of their last 4 games. They just took 2 of 3 on the road against Atlanta. But neither team had the day off yesterday, and this is a Toronto lineup that is just cruising right now. You know what I mean? So I think in this spot, I would say, okay, this price is a little fishy. I totally understand that. Maybe we just trust the Toronto bats. That way we don't have to get behind Eric Lauer. So I'll take a peek at Toronto's team total over. Right now, I think you can get 4.5 for decent odds. I think they can go out there and do that. They've won 8 of their last 10 games. And again, it's Kyle Hendricks. Not like this guy is the creme de la creme of pitchers. I mean, sure, he'll have his decent spots, and I think he's coming off a really good start against what team was it? Washington. Big whoop, right? But against Houston, 5 innings, 3 earned. Before that, I think he shut out the Yankees, but kind of in the Yankees drought, right? So there are some little pieces that make him look a little bit better than he is. So yeah, I'll lean Toronto team total over. Maybe it's something that we can put in some sort of a same game parlay, because that's kind of what I'm thinking about that St. Louis and Chicago game as well. Let me knock that team total line down to like 3.5 and figure out something that we can do that kind of correlates. Maybe that's a move. But Toronto money line, their team total over, definitely what I'm considering in this one. Maybe we can go, Hendricks hits allowed or something like that as a piece into a same game parlay. All right, Miami taking on Milwaukee. We have Miami, 9 of their last 10 games they've taken a dub on. Milwaukee losing 2 straight there to the Mets. Quinn Priester's on the mound. He's actually been pretty damn good, right? He's not exactly what I would consider like a shoo-in as he's going to keep doing this, but still been pretty good. Sandy Alcantara, not so much. So I do think as much as the name is bigger on the Miami side of things, which obviously Cy Young winner, Quinn Priester probably the better name here. Yes, the Marlins are at home. Yes, their offense is hitting, but I still think that we have to trust Milwaukee to some degree. Let's not sit here and act like this is a Milwaukee team that is struggling or anything like that just after a couple games against the Mets, right? 2 and 3 runs scored. Prior to that, they went 7, 3, 5, 10, 4, 9, 4, 9. This is still an offense that should be able to go out there and give you something, right? Sandy Alcantara, in terms of his numbers, we just had it up. Let me try and find it again. His numbers here against Milwaukee do look pretty damn good. So if you're kind of trying to back the Marlins and back this hot streak that they're on and everything like that, yeah, Alcantara looks good. But anything you look at historically with Alcantara is probably going to be skewed by the fact that he historically was filthy. Now, not so much. He is going to throw the sinker. That is a pitch that they struggle to hit. You can even see it here on the dashboard. Right here, the sinker. But anything else he throws their way, fastball, changeup, slider. Fastball, changeup, slider. They're all top 10 in. So, yeah, I kind of like the idea here of Milwaukee getting to him. Maybe we look at, an over, though, because, again, I think Quinn Priester, I said he's not a shoo-in to keep pitching like this, so maybe an over 8 could be something that we consider. That's the number as of right now. If I could see a 7.5, that definitely would be something that I like. So, yeah, I like an over, but I do think that Milwaukee at this cheap price seems like it could be the side to get down with. I know it might be, a little crazy betting against this Marlins team that is absolutely on a heater, but Milwaukee, their offense is very, very good. So I think that, as long as Priester kind of does his job, we could see a Milwaukee dub here. We'll see. I know there's going to be people in the comments being like, they're like the hottest team in baseball. What are you doing? That is fair, though. Cleveland taking on Detroit. Obviously, this Guards team has been struggling, right? Ultimately, I don't think that they're that bad. I think we should know that. But even yesterday, did that final score end up being 1-0? Yeah, 1-0. Like, they're losing games in which they go out there and can't even get one run on the board to tie it. Detroit hasn't been as phenomenal, but their offense has at least been cooking, right? So I do think that Detroit's offense can probably keep this thing going. It's Slade Ciccone going up against Reese Olson. Reese Olson pitching advantage here. The fact that the price is where it is, though, is a little worrisome. Obviously, we don't have Carpenter in the lineup. That's a big deal. This Cleveland team just can't seem to hit anybody, but is it a little bit different now? Now they're finally back at home. That could be the case. But to me, for the price we're getting on Detroit, I don't really see a reason why we shouldn't pull the trigger. Maybe it's because, these two teams play each other tough, and Cleveland's actually kind of dominated this year. I get all that, but man, oh man, does this team seem to be in a rut. You have Detroit coming off of a game yesterday, which they lost, but they scored 7 runs, right? They scored 4 runs in the game that they lost in Game 2 against the Nationals as well. They would have had more runs scored in every game that, I think Cleveland's played over the last 4 or 5 games, something like that. So I have to trust this offense. I don't think Ciccone's going to go out there and absolutely deal. He has the ability to be good. I've said it before, but what do I always say? The best thing about him is the fact that he has a cool-sounding name. Reese Olson, I expect to continue to pitch well. In terms of these two guys against the opposition in the past in their career here, Slade Ciccone, 18 plate appearances against, small sample size, expected batting average against of 268, but an expected slugging of 659. Reese Olson's not all that much better, expected batting average over 55 plate appearance, so bigger sample size, but still mediocre, right? 279 expected batting average, 458 in terms of the expected slugging. So both these guys could get hit a little bit today. Maybe we look at an over as well, but I like Detroit in the over. The thing that might keep me off of that is the fact that, again, Cleveland, can we even count on them for 2 runs at this point? Maybe not. So, yeah, Reese Olson's been pitching well. Atlanta taking on Baltimore. Morton on the mound against Spencer Strider. I think Spencer Strider is back. Even when he's allowing, a little bit more earned, he's pitching deeper into games now. So that's obviously good, especially, as one of my guys. Baltimore's Charlie Morton hasn't been terrible, though. He definitely was not looking all that great to start the year. Then they moved him into relief. Now he's back in the starting lineup, and he hasn't been, like I said, hasn't been terrible. What really concerns me here is both of these offenses against right-handed pitchers. Neither one of them look all that tremendous. This Braves offense we faded yesterday in the first 5, so that's great. But realistically, we're going to see a ton of sliders and fastballs out of Spencer Strider. Out of both offenses looking bad, the best spot might be Baltimore against the fastball and the slider, which is crazy to say. So it's going to be Baltimore or nothing for me. I'm telling you right now, I don't think I can fully put my cojones on the table and ride with that. But I also could convince myself of a first 5 under, kind of backing both of these guys. Hopefully Morton doing okay. But again, like we talked about it earlier in the game, right? Earlier in the slate. When I have these first 5s that I really like, it should be clear in the video which ones I really like. We end up rolling with them ourselves. This one I still want to do a little bit of digging on because, again, that fastball slider combo for Strider scares me a little bit, and as funny as that is, even though in 16 plate appearances, he has an 0.67 average against on this team. So it's probably still a spot where you could convince yourself of the Braves, but based on his 2-pitch mix and how Baltimore, maybe their offense is looking better, I don't think that I can get behind the Braves today. I think I'm going to lean towards Baltimore. Again, total would be that first 5 under, but it just doesn't check all the boxes that I'm looking for. It doesn't check all the boxes. Oh, man, we have an absolute instant classic on our hands today. The Colorado Rockies taking on the Chicago White Sox. Yeah, this is tough. We're seeing these two teams have combined for less than 50 wins so far this year. White Sox way more than the Rockies, though. 20-67 are the Rockies, 28-59 are the White Sox. Today on the mound, Adrian Hauser has looked okay, right? Coming off of a start in which he went 7 innings, 0 earned. He's going up against Antonio Sansatella, who it might as well be just a batting practice pitching machine, right? He just kind of hums it in there and lets you hit it. The problem is this White Sox team really going to hit him? I mean, he throws a fastball 52% of the time, and 29 are the White Sox ranked against the fastball. At least on the other end of things, you have Colorado at home here. They're facing the sinker from Adrian Hauser. He really struggles against lefties. There's a couple lefties in that lineup. Maybe for the plus money, look at Colorado, but I don't think we have to spend too much time on this one, guys. Out of all the games, let me know in the comments if you are really rolling with something in this game, because that means you are a psycho, and we're sounding the psycho alert alarm for you, but I love you more for it. So yeah, this is one where we probably don't touch, but I'd lean Colorado and probably an under. I know we have two bad pitchers, two bad bullpens, but are these offenses all that great? No, Colorado looks okay, but we know what they really are. But they are at home, that is important to note. Man, I was looking forward to this one because I thought with Ben Kasparias on the mound, for the Dodgers, we might get a decent price tag behind them. And we could take, our strategy has worked pretty damn well this year. When we see Dodgers at a consumable price, we take it. But today, not so much, right? They have won 9 of their last 10. Houston, 8 of their last 10. So both teams playing well. Lance McCullers Jr. on the mound. Again, Kasparias starting for the Dodgers. I would say McCuller on the road has been very, very good. He does struggle against righties mightily, though. Mookie, Teoscar Hernandez, Will Smith. There's a lot of guys in this lineup that I'd be afraid of there. But Freeman and Ohtani, he might be able to actually keep them kind of suppressed, especially with the slider. Neither one of them are all that phenomenal against it. I would still lean Dodgers, but to me, it's kind of stinks that this price is where it is, because I like the idea of Ben Kasparias as I would say mediocre as he's been. It's not like he's an absolute stud. Doesn't have a lot of true starts because he's going to either open sometimes or even he comes in after Shohei a couple times now, right? So obviously that can influence, if you're looking at just his starting pitching numbers. But I still think the Dodgers can score more runs than Houston today. But again, that price, I thought we were going to get a good one with Kasparias on the mound. I'll lean Dodgers, maybe a peek at a team total over for the Dodgers as well, but I feel like the market just did not pin out. I had this one circle trying to look at good value, kind of our strategy of taking the Dodgers at a short price. Didn't get that today. Real quick, guys, before we do jump into this game, make sure to comment 27 if you made it this far into the video. You're about to be passed. You will be pretty soon if I ramble long enough at the 27-minute mark. Really do appreciate that. Really do appreciate it. I won't get all sappy and disrupt the video and all that. And Ev rant is long overdue, though, but it won't be today. But I really do appreciate anyone that has tuned in and stuck around till the end of this video. So comment 27 if you did, and we'll see some guppies today being like, why is everyone commenting 27? If you know, you know. All right, we got Eduardo Rodriguez going up against Chris Bubic here. Diamondbacks taking on the Royals. Eduardo Rodriguez, I can't sit here and say that he's terrible, but he ain't all that great, right? I mean, this is a guy that, talk about inconsistent. You never really know what you're going to get out of him. He has 3 straight starts now of looking really, really good. Miami, the White Sox, and Toronto, kind of a mixed bag of opponents too, right? But Bubic, I would say, is the better pitcher. He even looked okay against the Dodgers. What he allowed 2 or 3 through 5 or 6 innings, something like that. So I do like his spot. He's obviously the better pitcher. He's going to throw a ton of sliders. That's not exactly the best pitch for Arizona to hit. What we really worry is, okay, well, Eduardo Rodriguez is at home. He's slightly better at home. And this is a Royals offense that just kind of stinks. But they are a little better when they're on the road, right? So maybe we could convince ourselves of a Royal money line play here. I'd be looking for better odds, though. You think about the Royals and the Diamondbacks in terms of their 2 talent levels and whatnot. You'd be thinking, okay, well, Royals must be plus, 115, right? No, they're giving a lot of respect to Bubic because the Royals are just minus 105. Diamondbacks minus 110. It's essentially a pick right now. So I lean Royals backing kind of Bubic, but I don't necessarily love the price whatsoever because as much as, Chris is better than Eduardo, I would say the Diamondbacks offense is 10 times better than the Royals, right? So it makes it a little tough here. It's another one of those, okay, well, this is a tough one type of a spot. I don't necessarily mind the idea of backing the Royals, though. In terms of a total, it's down there at 8. I would say this is probably a spot in which, we could get to 4-4, something like that with the late innings and all that, and all of a sudden it's a 9-run game. So as much as I do think Bubic can kind of control this game early, I don't think we'll ever be down and out. Give me the over. All right, last game, and I know we haven't really had many player props to discuss. That doesn't mean that we didn't look at player props, just didn't totally find as many as we normally would like or anything like that. And as weird it is, these are weird games, right, in terms of the slate. even weirder trying to find some value for player props. So it is what it is. But Sears against Verlander in this one, I do think we have a decent price to back the Giants. I worry about them on the road. I do. In terms of, them scoring runs, though, 4.26 on the road this year compared to just 4.29 for the Athletics when they are at home. But both these guys are going to go fastball slider as their main pitches. The Athletics are number 2 in terms of hitting the slider, runs above average last 30 days. So yeah, you probably could use that as an argument to back the Athletics. Giants also stink against the left-handed pitcher, which JP Sears is the lefty. So for that reason, I'm probably out. But as long as this game goes and it stays close, I think the Giants have a massive advantage late in the innings with the 2 bullpens. One of the better bullpens against one of the worst, if not the worst bullpen in the league in terms of season log numbers. I know they kind of ebb and flow, but give me the Giants as well as maybe an under because, again, I don't think that this is an Athletics team that if Verlander pitches well, I don't think that they're going to score many runs late. So maybe an under because it all is all the way up there at 10. But guys, it's going to wrap it up for today's show. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, you know exactly what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down below. Appreciate all of the support as of late. Enjoy your holiday weekends. Catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.